Hi, I'm Cheryl. We'll be making this card today, and I have a couple of different things I want to show you that's might be new to you. And I see that this isn't quite as bright on the video as it is in person, but this is a very bright yellow. And then on the inside I have a sentiment, which if you've watched my videos, you know I don't do a lot of times. So this is what we're going to need today. I need a piece of basic black cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. That will be our card base. For the front of the card, we need a piece of, using a lightweight cardstock, and you'll understand why in just a minute. But it's the Coordinations makes this cardstock, and it's not as robust as some, but I needed a cardstock that was a little bit lighter weight, and this is 4 1/4 by 5.5, so that will cover the entire card front. And we need we'll be using actually a full sheet of that yellow, because we need to do a lot of little things here. So I'll get into the sizes and all on this. And then I have a piece also then of basic black that's 5 by 3 3/4. And let me see if I can show you this. See the edges? They're fuzzy, and that's because my cutter blade is starting to go south, and I need to order a new one, or a new couple of them. But if this happens to you, there's no problem. You just take a nail file, and you can file all those little fuzzy edges right off. Now I don't know if this works. I don't think this works as well on the lightweight cardstock, but the heavier weight cardstocks, this is definitely a saver. It's a lifesaver for card making. So I always keep a nail file handy, or you can also use one of these nail blocks. But I think most people it'd be more likely you had an emery board nail file thing. Okay, I'm using some hole punches. I have a 1 inch, a 3/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch hole punch. I have a piece of fabric, and chances are you don't have this particular fabric and will probably never find it. So you can choose a fabric of your choice, and if you want, you can color coordinate your card. And you see on mine I have some yellow in the pattern, and that's what I picked up for the card. But we'll be using this, and this is about 2 inches by 7 inches. I have some 1/2 inch double-sided double stick tape. I have a pair of scissors, and then I also have my good fabric scissors that nobody is allowed to touch ever except for me. So we have those, and we'll also be using the Layering Circles Framelit dies. And this is subjective to which one you'll use as to what you've printed you've done your high, and I kind of gave that away. We're going to be using the printer. You notice there are no stamps. I said, now how did she do that with no stamps? I used my printer. Oh, and snail. Always need snail around. So what I did, I just on my printer, I chose some fonts, and I did these all in bold. Some are italic and a couple of them are not. I'll list all of this in my materials list. And then I also printed out the greeting for the inside of the card. You know, there's just a lot of times that you don't have a stamp that says what you want to say in your card. And I often do this. I'll print it out on the printer. But, like I said, maybe your printer will accept the heavy cardstock. Mine does not. And that is why I'm using a lighter weight cardstock for this card. So, anyway, this is how I print it out. I printed out my highs on this side. I just flip the paper over and I printed my sentiment out. So, this is the breakdown how we're going to be cutting from here. On the highs, choose a circle that fits the size of your high from the layering circle Framelits dies. Okay, from the top here, the sentiment that was going to go on the inside, we want that to be, let me just check and make sure I'm giving you the right measurement. We want that to be 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so I know my paper's 8.5 inches, and I just subtracted that out, divided in half, and I cut off from this side and from this side, and then on the bottom here, so that I have my proper size for the inside of my card. So I just trim that off. Then from the middle here, see, I'm not going to waste all of that. From the middle, I cut the piece for my card front. Okay, and that piece was the piece that's 5.5 by 4 1/4. So I hope you're following along on this. So, but that's how I cut from here. Then I have very little scrap, and you'll notice I do have scrap over here on the margins. Well, some of that, I kept some of that, and I'm going to be punching out these circles for my card front. Okay, so I've already done the cutting. As you can see, there's my inside of my card, and then I have a couple different highs here, and I think I'll use this one on the card front. Or should I use that one? No, I'll use this one. I'll use this one on the card front, and then this will be the inside. So it's from, you know, once you have everything set up with all, you know, what you're going to use, then the card goes very fast. So let me get this out of here. I don't need that in here anymore. So take your fabric, flip it over so the wrong side is showing. That's the side, if you don't sew, the bright pattern side is the right side, the other side is the wrong side. Take your 1/2 inch wide tape and find the end. There it is. And we're going to cut a piece about, oh, not those scissors. I want gunky scissors. Oh my, I almost used my good sewing scissors. And we're going to lay that down on our scrap and leave yourself about 1/4 inch or so from the edge, and we'll just smooth that down real well. And we'll do this again with another piece. And I think I cut that one a little shorter, but that's alright, because one of our stripes is a little shorter anyway. And we'll just press that down real well. Now we take the good fabric scissors and you're going to cut about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the tape. And I don't need all this here. And again on the other side, about 1/4 of an inch. So just on the long sides you need that 1/4 of an inch. And we'll do the same with this other piece here. Trim that off. And I think we're good on this side. I'll trim a little bit there. Okay. Now I'm going to get my sewing scissors out of here so I don't accidentally use them on something sticky. Okay. So now you can get the end of your tape here and pull the backing off. I'm going to pull the backing off and lay that down and carefully fold your fabric up over that tape. You want to keep this edge as straight as possible. So we're folding that up. If it's a little wavy, well, I think it'll be fine. But try to keep it as straight as possible. For those of you that sew, this is almost like this is like seam binding tape, except that we have sticky tape in the middle here. Okay. All right, so there's one piece done. It's ready to go on our card, and we do the same with the other piece. Fold that fabric up. We're basically making our ribbon. But if you're like me, I'm into so many crafts, and I have all these great little fabric scraps too. So I just wanted to incorporate some into my cards. I have a lot of pretty batiks and things. Okay, so there we go. We have our 2 strips for the front, and we're ready to go because I've cut this out. Oh, I need to punch I have my high. I have my piece for the card front, and I just need now to punch my circles. So we'll just take one of these scraps and punch out a couple of the 1-inch ones, and we'll punch out some of the 3/4 inch ones. And maybe I'll use all of these, maybe I won't. We will see. And then I'll punch out some of the, oh, I can do those on this one. We'll punch out some of these little guys. Alright, and we'll save those scraps for another time. Okay. So, we'll use our piece of 5 of basic black that's cut to the 5 by 3 3/4. Oh, there's a little fuzzy still on here. There we go. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'll position my tape. So I'll take my snail, and just nail the back of that. And you want to snail that pretty good. it really is, you're going to find it doesn't really want to stick to this, to the fabric very well. So you'll have to go over it a couple times and just make sure you get your snail on there. And then I'm going to do a diagonal this way. Okay, smooth that down. And we'll take our other piece. And we're going to do a diagonal this way. You notice I didn't do it at a 45-degree angle. I just thought it looked better to be a little bit more random. Okay, and then we'll trim off our excess here. And we're not doing anything special to these edges because they're stuck down good on that double stick tape. So that should keep our fabric from fraying. Okay. Sticky, sticky stuff. I have a sign in my craft room that, because I posted it because it makes me laugh to look at it. And it says, "It's all fun and games until the adhesive runs out." And isn't that so true? You ever get partway through a card and run out of glue or your runner tape, your snail? So that's a terrible thing, especially like if you're in a really creative mind. Okay, so we're just going to put some snail on the back of our high, and I want that kind of, I'm going to put him at a little angle just because this is a fun card anyway. Okay, so there's that. And now I have to decide where to put all my little circles. I think I'll put one there, maybe, and one over here. And let's see, get a big one in there. And we don't want them, don't put them evenly spaced. Maybe I'll swap that out. Put a little one there. And put that one there. And maybe one over here. Like that. That looks pretty good to me. So now I'll just put some snail on the back of those. You could use Tombow if you want. Tombow would be wonderful for this too. But I have my snail. Here like that. And one more. And that should do it for the front of our card. Uh-oh. Is that the end? Oh my goodness, that's the end of my snail. Well, I've got another one here. I'll just... Oh, I messed up that little circle. Where'd my papers get to? I'll punch out another little circle. I don't need to put a damaged one on there. I have plenty of this paper, so. But this should be fine. There we go. There. Okay, so now we have the card, the top layer of the card front. And we're going to bring in our piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 yellow. And we'll put this right on top of that. And you'll have about a 1/4 inch showing all the way around. And then that will go on the card base. It's funny, I happened to mention my sign, it's all fun and games till the adhesive runs out, and my adhesive ran out. Okay, now I like to stand my card up like this, and if you bring it in like this and line up the bottom and just kind of swing it up. Of course, this is easier if I have it facing me, but that's a good way to line up the front of your card. Okay, and then we'll put our piece on the inside. Oh no, don't you run out on me too. Okay, there we go, plenty of runner tape. And we'll position this on the inside, and again you'll have about a 1/4 inch showing just like on the front of the card. And there we go. Our card is finished. So there's the original, there's this one. Just a little bit different look with the different fonts that I used. So if you've liked my video, then be sure to hit the like button down below. And there's a subscribe button down there if you'd like to see more of my videos. Hit that. If you'd like to shop with me, you can do that either through my Facebook page or my website. And as always, I'll have all my materials listed below, and I'll put the fonts that I used too, and whether I made them bold or italic. And it's just a wonderful way to say exactly what you're thinking. See, this one says, wishing you the happiest of birthdays today and many, many more in the future. So you're not going to find a stamp that says that. So y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.